Hello, everybody. It's Chris Smith at the YNTAAY Minis, and this week it's the annual Tops and Bottoms. The bottoms. Because everybody loves a good bottom list, I always say. Now, these are movies that some of them are not necessarily bad movies, but it's my feeling that I took away after seeing them. They made me very sad because, for me, they were very bad. Now, the first one, and these are in no particular order except for the last one, which is really awful. But the first one is, what is this thing called? Batman versus Superman. Now, I know what you're all thinking. Paolo and I did a whole episode saying how it wasn't as bad as you were told. And that's true. It's not that the movie is so bad, but Batman is so horrible in it, as played by Ben Affleck, that he just left a bad taste in my mouth, so to speak, for the rest of the year. So now, every time I think of this movie and Batman, I'm like, ugh, Batman, you're dead to me. Thanks a lot for doing that to the Batman franchise. And now, this next one, again, not a bad movie. It's 10 Cloverfield Lane. It's the sequel to Cloverfield, that one that's about some sort of monster that's loose. And I don't know what they were, aliens invading. This one had John Goodman in it and Mary Elizabeth Winstead of Brain Dead, who I love. And, you know, this was co-written by Damien Chazelle, who did La La Land. But this movie left a bad taste in my mouth. And John Goodman, I just don't enjoy him. I'm sorry, John Goodman, if you're watching, but it made me claustrophobic. I couldn't breathe, and it, like Batman, it just planted a seed of negativity that has haunted me for months. Now, this one is controversial. It's a movie people love this year, and it's Arrival, starring Amy Adams, who was snubbed at the Oscars, or at the nominations this week. And I'm sorry, even though Arrival had a wonderful message about communications among the people, I just did not care about any of these dull, boring characters. I cared about the aliens, Abbott and Costello. Yes, if you haven't seen the movie, that is what they called these two aliens that are like squid-like creatures that are behind glass. And what's with the interior of this ugly, ugly spaceship thing? It was like someone got in a big old Frigidaire box and painted it black inside and got in there with the camera. And, oh, it was just hideous. I thought Close Encounters was much more interesting. And these dullards, give me Diana from V eating guinea pigs any old day over these aliens. But, again, people love it, so what do I know? For me, I just couldn't wait to depart from Arrival. Now, this one I really wanted to like. It's Everybody Wants Some. I thought I was going to see a different kind of movie, but it was a bunch of frat boys living in, well, I still thought that's the kind of movie it was going to be, but these frat boys are playing sports and getting some, and I don't know what it was about. It's from that man that did Boyhood, so you know it's very dull, which I loved Boyhood. Okay, talk about a pointless movie. Speaking of, My Big Fat Greek Wedding 2, starring whatchamajiggerin, what's his name? I loved the first one. It was in my top 10 list that year, if you'll remember, in the old minis before we did minis. Of course, it was just me in my living room then. But this movie was just pointless. And it was good visiting some of those old characters, but they did nothing with it. Oy. Okay, now it's not fair that I put Suicide Squad in the in this list, because I did go to sleep at the very beginning, and when I woke up, the credits were rolling. But I saw flashes of it during the movie, and it was just horrible. I'm sorry, and it made me want to commit suicide, quite frankly. Please, don't any police officers show up at my door. That wasn't a threat. Okay, 50 Shades of Black was the spoof of 50 Shades of Grey, which was on last year's bottoms list. So, of course, its spoof would be, it was just dreadful. Now, that's all I have to say about that. Now, I know what you're all thinking about Tyler Perry's Boo! A Madea Halloween. Why did I see this anyway? Well, I thought it was, the trailer looked sort of funny, and the poster that said, "Witch, please!" I thought that was hilarious, and it had a little Madea flying in front of the moon, her silhouette. But Tyler Perry's movies, it's like he sets it up with the actors and says, okay, this is what we need to do in this scene. And then they just let the camera roll forever, and no one edits it. Much like my YNTAAY minis. But I'd rather see them any old day. Talk about a pointless movie, Blair Witch. This was the remake of the Blair Witch Project. Well, actually, it was sort of a spin-off or a sequel, because it had somebody who was looking for his sister who had disappeared in the first one all those years ago. But, oh, it was so pointless and just so... ugh. And it just made me not want to go into the woods looking for witches who have made everyone disappear over the years. Okay, and the absolute worst movie that I saw over the year, 2016, is Independence Day Resurgence. Oh, my stars. Most of the cast from the first one was in it, and I loved Independence Day. Will Smith's character had been killed off from the franchise, so he was very lucky. And in this, the aliens have returned 20 years later to blow up the Earth. If only the aliens had been so aggressive in that snooze fest arrival, maybe I would have enjoyed it a little bit more. But yes, Independence Day, the worst ever. Okay, that is my bottoms list for 2016. I will be back next week with the tops. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.